Welcome to the World United. Welcome to the World United.
On now, our next speaker is Jeanine Bailey. Jeanine is a professional coach, trainer, facilitator, podcaster, and a writer. She's an ICF Master Certified Coach, a coach mentor, a supervisor trainer, as well as co-founder and director of Empower World, a global coach training and executive coaching organization. She's got over 25 years professional experience working with multinational, blue chip, really influential organizations all over the world, Qatar, UK, Europe, New Zealand, Australia. And she's been coaching, facilitating, helping with communications, business development. She passionately supports organizations and individuals to achieve their goals by working with people to assist them to unlock their hidden, powerful potential at a deep level, paying attention to emotions, physiology, soma, intuition, and connecting with the mind and heart in combination with neuroscience of coaching. So Jeanine, talk to us about conversations with the earth in mind.
Thank you for that long introduction. And thank you, Terry, for what you shared. It, again, really struck a chord with me as you spoke. So I really appreciate your words. And I want to say that I'm calling from the Wathaurong People's Country, which is part of the Kulin Nation in Victoria, south of Melbourne. That is not where I actually live, but it's not far from where I live. So it does represent a bit of the coastline that I live on right now. And I pay my respects to the elders past and present, and I pay my respect to your elders past and present across the lands and seas. And welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me today, joining all of us, the panel today. And I wanted to share today because of I guess things that have been evolving in my life as a professional coach, and how connecting to the earth can enrich our conversations. And especially as we're in this period of COP26, how we can also create more awareness about climate change through our conversations, again, with the earth, with the planet in mind. And another piece of important work that I do as a coach, as a trainer of people to become professional coaches, is the work that I do with Indigenous women and men who want to become professional coaches in New Zealand, which I started with another wonderful woman that I met who I trained in the Middle East, who is Maori. Her name is Rachel Petero, and she had a vision of wanting to support Indigenous women and men to become professional coaches and to become leaders in their life. And that started in 2015. And that was really important to me, hugely important, because it really, I guess, brought the earth much closer to mind and heart and body and soul for me, because there is the Maori people have that, that's such a spiritual alignment with the earth, land, and sea. And because of their consciousness, it comes into all of their work and all of their conversations, which certainly I've had with them. So traveling to New Zealand, that connection to Mother Earth, being able to see, hear, and feel the beautiful New Zealand, it really did bring it all to life. And so as much as possible, we took our training out into the open, out into the fresh air, and we were able to connect to it, to bring it into what we were learning. So that's where the real deeper connection started. So I love this work that I do that is about unlocking the potential within individuals, teams, organizations, bringing out the best and supporting them to connect with what really matters, purpose, values, so that they can make decisions really easily, again, in alignment with their heart, mind, and soul, which also aligns to beliefs and rituals around Mother Earth. And so what has been creeping up for me, and as I shared in a workshop, it's turned into an avalanche, is climate change and wanting to protect the voiceless, this has really come about when the catastrophic fires in Australia in 2019 and 2020 came along. And actually, I've just watched the ABC Fires series, and so that brought all of that emotion back again just recently of what it must have been like. And even though I wasn't in any bushfire affected areas, I could see the skies, I could smell the smoke, and I could just feel the connection, the devastation with the people that had been impacted by those fires. So I really wanted to do something to, again, support the voiceless, to create more awareness about what we are doing as humans that are potentially inducing these catastrophes, knowing that fire is certainly a part of life, but what we saw in 2019 and through 2020 was absolutely devastating. So I wondered how I could do this, and I wondered how I could somehow bring my coaching practice and the earth, how I could bring them together, how could I integrate them? And especially when I have such a busy practice, I felt so drawn to activism. But then all of a sudden, I was asking myself, what is the earth calling me to do? What is mine to do? What does Mother Nature, what does she want from me? What does she specifically want me to do and know? How can I bring this coaching and climate awareness together? And now it seems so logical, but at the time I couldn't piece the two together. And so as I asked these types of questions of myself every day, I started to notice and feel and hear an unfolding of many exciting, purposeful events, projects, ideas such as this, working with, for example, local groups as a coach, supporting a local group in my council area that has gone to the local council with a detailed plan of how we can get to zero carbon emissions by 2030, which of course is significantly less than the Australian government's target of 2050. So working with this group to support the council to meet those target carbon emissions has unfolded as an opportunity to bring coaching conversations into that work. So listening deeply to the people that are in those groups and asking questions so that they can unblock their blind spots in thinking and doing and being. So with those questions that I kept asking of myself, what is mine to do? I just noticed that my energy began to flow, and I was able to listen to my body in terms of how it responded. Am I happy about what I'm doing, or am I feeling really angry, and am I called to action and doing something? So I'm listening to my responses to those questions with the earth in mind all the time. And of course, if I'm hearing things, if I'm asking questions that leads to joy, I marinate them marinate in them as much as possible, feeling grateful for what I'm able to experience. So, for example, going for a walk in nature or going for a swim in the sea is something that I've been marinating in a lot, especially with COVID. But also, hearing that, perhaps that anger when I hear a piece of news on whatever news channel it is, and thinking, okay, what's here for me? What is Mother Nature wanting me to do here as I hear that news? What's mine to do? Is it out of my hands, or is it in my hands to do something? So again, I'm always listening out for my intuition and what is Mother Nature saying. So it's through these things that I've been listening to and asking these questions of myself and paying attention to, with the earth in mind. And as a consequence of the bushfires, I came across a climate coaching alliance, 24-hour conversation. And as a consequence of joining that, and this was happening while the bushfires were taking place, I joined that 24-hour conversation, which I found was a group of coaches who were like me, listening to the earth, wanting to do something that would create positive and powerful change for us now and for our future generations. As Terry was sharing earlier, what is it that we can do to support our future generations, not just the next, but the next and the next and the next. So that that Climate Coaching Alliance was a small number of coaches, and now it's swelled up to over thousands of coaches who have joined that alliance across the globe. So that ripple effect is really happening, where coaches are becoming much more aware that they can bring the earth into coaching conversations all the time by asking questions like, so the impact of that decision that you've made, what is the impact of that decision on your family, your community, the workplace, the earth? What might the earth say to you right now as a consequence of those decisions that you've made for yourself? What's the wisdom here that is to be learned and to be harvested? So those coaching conversations are happening more and more all the time. So I feel quite inspired as I share this, because I really do believe in that ripple effect. And that's leading to incredible conversations and partnerships and actions, positive actions, and making a difference. And of course, there's more to come. We need to do so much more. But again, I'm trusting that there are so many more people that are more consciously aware of what's happening and what the earth has to share. So I'm very fortunate to have moved to Point Lonsdale. And as a consequence, I'm not jumping on a plane every couple of weeks as I did before COVID. I've been able to really plant myself here and root myself here into the earth and be able to get out in nature, listen to all of the different noises she makes. Either it's wild storms like we had last week, where we lost many big, beautiful trees and power. I was without power for a whole day. It's listening to that to let us know something needs to happen, something needs to change, or it's being able to go for a swim on a beautiful blue, sunny day and just, again, marinate in the beauty of nature, immerse in what's here, what's available to us. So, and it's with all of that in mind, we can have not only coaching conversations with clients, but also with our family, with our community. It's really these sorts of questions with the earth in mind, we can ask in any situation, any circumstance, to create more conscious awareness of what are the impacts of our decisions, or what are our emotions, what is our body saying to us when we're talking about the earth, and listening to the wisdom. So I know that I'm coming close to the end of the time. So the thing is, and I guess the message is, that we can all use Mother Nature, we can all use Earth in our everyday conversations to support us, each and every one of us, to identify, what really matters, what really counts for ourselves, what's the impact of every decision that we make. Every decision has a flow-on effect and an impact on the world. So getting curious about that with one another, and again, exploring and getting curious about our emotions and where our energy is going, and not pushing things down, but really listening to it, listening to what's coming up and identifying what's here for me. What is my calling? Where is my energy flowing? And does this, or perhaps understanding, what's my purpose here? What are my values? So the earth is in us. We are the earth. So let's embrace the earth into our hearts, minds, and consciously and powerfully support others to do the same through asking powerful, curious questions to support our health, our planet, our well-being, and build connection, build trust, and create a better world. Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Wow, thank you, Jeanine. That was beautiful. What really inspires me is that with someone who has your passion, obviously, but you also have an expertise. You have this expertise as a coach that you can pass on to some of the most influential policymakers. So it's like, it's a way to work inside the system to change the system. And I think that's number one, that's a really, really good thing.
Thank you, Mike. And actually what I would have loved to have shared is a project that I'm working as part of, which is about doing just that, really connecting in with influencers, people who have, I guess, power, like CEOs, etc. There's a project that's going on that I'm involved in, and I wish I could share what's going to happen.
We're going to give you a chance to do that in the panel discussion. How's that? I guarantee you. So we'll go through the speakers, and then what we're going to do is we're all going to get together for a short panel discussion and talk about whatever we want to talk about, and we'll make sure we'll talk about that. How's that?